Hello Starlets, I have the whole house to myself, so now I can be as loud as I need to be for this video. What a blessing. Anyways, so for today's topic, we're going to be discussing my matron deity, the lovely Freya. So I talked about her a little bit in my like 20 witchy questions video, and I kind of touched a little bit on like how we met and how things went down. I couldn't really find the journal where it listed everything that I did in that. What? Sorry, puppy break. I couldn't find my old notebook, so, or like not the page that had where I wrote down everything that happened in it. So I'm just gonna go off of memory again. From me working with her, there's been so many things that she's shown me, so many sides and aspects of herself, so it's kind of hard to just go specifically into one. I mean, I can go into more details and more videos if you guys are interested in hearing something like that. If not, then it's whatever. I'll still make a video on it because I feel like it. So I usually work with her in just kind of her main Freya aspect, which I see her as sometimes clothed, sometimes not, depending. Usually I'll see her with long, blonde, wavy hair. Obviously a very beautiful woman, because Freya. In that form as well, I often see her with a golden light around her, or sort of a golden glow. It's like kind of the sunlight sort of vibe. I've also seen her in what I'd call her Geffen. I don't know if that's the right way to pronounce it, but her Geffen aspect, which the way I saw her was with red long hair, but it's straight, and she was wearing I think it was either a palish off-white dress or a green dress. I can't remember which one it was. Either way, I kind of used both depictions of her for that. So that aspect is sort of more almost Gaia-esque for me, very much the Earth Mother, grounded quality sort of gal, I guess. I have seen her a lot in her aspect of Mardom, which is the sea aspect, or like I see her a lot in that form whenever I'm depressed. So I associated that part of her with sort of the fairy or spirit of the banshee, because I've seen her as Mardel screaming in fury because in the moments after she finds out Ode, her husband, has been killed, sort of that screech of pain. So I kind of associated her with the spirit of the banshee on that. Usually in this aspect, she'll show herself with very pale, long blonde hair and a long blue, it's like a very light blue dress. Usually I'll see her in that state. There's a couple of like spiritual places I go to when I see her. Usually for the regular Freya aspect, I'll see her in the first place that I met her, which is in this field of like flowers and grass overlooking kind of a watery sort of scenery. So I guess it's like maybe a mountain over the ocean or something, but it's like a grassy field. And then I kind of see her in the same place for Geffen as well. Usually kind of hangs out in that meadow area. And then the other place, of course, is the beach area. But it's not like a regular, like, it's not the happy sort of beach scenery. It's a very dark beach, super misty. The sand is like a gray color, almost black. And then the water is really murky. There's a chill in the air. And it's sort of like the lighthouse is there, like, looking out into the mist, sort of. It's a very spookier sort of beach. What else can I talk about Freya? I've worked with her for, as far as animals go, like, sort of animal associations. I've seen her as a horse in my first meditation with her. Which I'll go over, like, that whole part in the last part. In the daytime, I've often associated with her with the great white heron. I almost, on the way to work one day, I was driving, and this big white bird flew by my car, like, right in front of it. I almost hit it, but I didn't. And I can't remember exactly what was going on through my, like, in the day. Regardless, for whatever reason, I took it as, like, a sign that it was Freya. And ever since then, every time I see, like, a white egret or the white heron sort of looking bird, I associate it with Freya, like, looking out for me or watching over me. Also, I'm not sure if this is really a scent that goes with Freya or, like, associates with Freya, but I really like the scent, so it might just be me. I use sandalwood a lot, and I'd like to think that she likes sandalwood too, so I'm gonna say sandalwood is something that's hers. She really likes the colors silver, gold, and white. Those are, like, the main three colors that I work with her. Those are very important. That and, like, don't forget amber. Amber's very important too. Those are, like, her main colors. When I was first kind of putting a little altar area for her, it had to be those colors, and it had to have seashells on it, and it's just, she's very particular with her area and her space. She's a very demanding goddess. Like, she will let you know if you're doing something she doesn't like, or she will let you know if she wants something. So in case you didn't watch the 20 questions video, let me go a little bit back to my meeting with Freya. So at the very beginning of my path, the only god and goddess that had really intrigued me at the time that I had learned about in school was through Greek mythology, and was Persephone and Hades. More particularly Persephone rather than Hades. I still had a bit of struggles with, I came from the Christian faith first, and I had some past baggage with that at that time that I didn't want to take a look at or anything, so I kind of placed dealing with a god at the time aside, and I focused on Persephone. So I was looking into a lot of Meet Your Goddess guided meditations, and specifically Persephone meditations if I could find them. I was doing a lot of research on her at the time, and I just felt like I wasn't getting a response from her at all, so it was a bit frustrating. Finally, I did a meditation. I found a guided meditation. If it's still on YouTube, I'll put the link below for that one. If you want to try that one, maybe you'll find either Persephone or a different god or goddess. So I did that meditation, and I met a woman who had red long hair, and I believe it was an off-white dress, although it could have been green. I can't really remember. I met her in the field, and it was a field of flowers, and she was wearing a flower in her hair, and she brought me a flower crown and placed it upon my head and held my cheeks and smiled at me. I don't remember if she told me anything, but I really just remember her smile and like holding my cheeks dearly. And that was the end of that meditation. So whenever I ended it, I got up and I'm like, yeah, I contacted Persephone, my girl. And no. In the next few weeks or so, I kept trying to reach out to her, lighting candle for her, setting space for her on altar, and I just wasn't really getting a response. When I would do oracle and stuff and try to reach out to her, I just kept getting kind of cards that were a bit negative, I guess. I don't want to say it was negative. It was just like telling me, you're not doing, like, you're not getting anywhere with this one, so you gotta stop. And I'm like, that's the only goddess I actually know about. Why would I want to work with anyone else? That doesn't make too much sense. So I ended up deciding to do another meditation, this time not guided, it was just a music meditation. I don't recall what that one is. It was probably just like Celtic background music or something, just to kind of set the mood. So in that meditation, I let myself kind of wander, and I arrived on sort of just a set path with like trees all around, so it's kind of like we're in the middle of the forest, but it's almost like a trail, and it's very, very green. And the woman is standing before me, the same woman I had seen, and I called out to her saying, "Oh, hello, Persephone, right? Nice to see you. I am happy we have established connection." And she ignores me. Thanks for that. And I'm like, okay, what? And instead of talking, she sort of just motions me to follow her. So I follow her down the path, and for some reason I'm hungry. And all of a sudden, woo, we have apple trees all around us. Great. I get an apple, and I start eating it. And eventually we come to sort of a small little stable area, and it's got one horse there, brown horse. And I'm about, I'd say like a couple of bites into the apple, and I'm like, not as hungry as I thought I was. So I share it with the horse, and I start to sort of pet the horse. And as soon as I've given the horse part of my apple and pet its mane, right, I just hear the name Freya, but in like a sort of loud whisper, if that makes sense. So I'm like, okay, all right, that was a thing. Mental note for later, and I'll get back to you on that one, Freya. Sounds good. So the rest of the meditation, I think it was just like I was experimenting a bit more with my spirit guide, or my animal guide, which is a crow. So I was sort of practicing like being as the crow and flying as the crow, and this whole time I'm trying to enjoy my flight through the air, right? Having a great time, flapping my wings, flying around, doing little loops and shit like that. It's a great time. Except I constantly keep hearing, Freya! I'm trying to fly here. I don't have time for this. I don't want to play it. Do not want to play this game. And still, she keeps shouting at me. And so finally, it's so intense that I'm like awakened from my meditation time, and I'm like, we're gonna leave that because I still don't want to deal with that. I'm trying to reach Persephone. And regardless, let's say a month or two later of trying to resist that, didn't work out very well. Freya was very persistent and did not let me get away with my bullshit, I guess. Anyways, we're great now. We're happy now. I mean, I can continue. I would love to continue more. I could talk about Freya all day long. because Mama Freya is queen. I love her. But this video is already too long, so if you guys want to hear more about Freya, then I'll gladly make another video. I'll probably make another video anyways. Thank you for watching my video, and have a great day. Keep shining bright, starlets. Bye!